It usually happens the same way. You're lying in bed, half asleep, or maybe you've just woken up, but something feels wrong. There's a presence in the room. You try to look, but you can't move. You try to speak, but nothing comes out. Your chest tightens, breathing becomes difficult, and then out of the corner of your eye you see it, a shape, a figure standing in the dark. Not quite human, but close enough that your brain knows exactly what it's supposed to be. And in that moment, before it disappears, you feel something very specific. Whatever it is, it's not friendly. Stories like this aren't rare. They've been reported across the world for centuries. Different cultures, different languages, different beliefs. But the descriptions, they're almost identical. Shadow people are usually described as featureless human silhouettes. No detail, just darker than dark outlines. Sometimes they move quickly, darting into corners or slipping through walls, vanishing the second you try to focus on them. Other times, they don't disappear at all. They stay, watching. Most encounters happen at night, usually in bed, usually when a person is alone, but not always. There are reports of shadow figures being seen in forests, in empty buildings, even in broad daylight. People often describe hearing something before they see them, a low hum, a buzzing sound, a sudden rush of air. Some hear whispering, some hear screaming. But almost all of them describe the same overwhelming feeling. Dread. Not just fear like you'd feel from a loud noise or a jump scare, but something deeper. Like your brain is reacting to a threat before you even understand what you're looking at. Here's where things start to get hard to explain. This isn't just one culture telling ghost stories. Versions of shadow people show up everywhere. The Choctaw people, who have lived in North America for thousands of years, tell stories of entities that appear at night and prey on the vulnerable. Beings that visit during sleep and don't just scare you, but consume something deeper inside you. In European folklore, there are entities that sit on your chest while you sleep, preventing you from moving and suffocating you. In ancient Mesopotamian texts, over 5,000 years old, there are descriptions of night spirits that paralyze their victim and leave them in a state between sleep and death. Across cultures, across time, people are describing the same experience. Paralysis, and a figure in the dark. And something about it feels intentional. Modern accounts don't make this any easier to dismiss. One report comes from a military base. A man wakes up in his barracks late at night. He's fully conscious. He looks to his roommate's side of the room and sees a figure emerge from the closet. It moves, not like a shadow, not like something imagined. It walks to a bed and climbs into it, and then turns as if it knows it's being watched. The man freezes. He grabs his phone and turns on the light, but the bed is empty. Weeks later, he tells his roommate what he saw, and the roommate goes silent, because he had seen something too. Another account describes a security guard working alone at night. Multiple people at the site report seeing the same thing. Not directly, but in their peripheral vision. A shape, standing just out of focus. If they tried to look straight at it, it disappeared, but if they looked slightly away, they could see it clearly, watching, waiting. And the strangest part was that everyone saw it independently of each other. Most shadow people don't interact. They observe and then they disappear. But not all of them. Some encounters escalate. Some people report figures with glowing eyes, red or yellow, staring directly at them. Others describe being touched, held down. There's one particular type that shows up across different stories, known as the Old Hag. Witnesses describe waking up unable to move. They feel a weight on their chest as something climbs onto them. They can feel it breathing, moving, sometimes hear it speaking, and in some cases, attacking. And then there's one figure that appears more consistently than almost any other. People who have never even heard of it still describe it the same way. A tall figure, completely black, standing in one corner of the room, and on its head, a wide-brimmed hat. The Hat Man. Witnesses describe him as taller than any normal person and unnaturally still, radiating a sense of pure dread. Sometimes he just stands there, other times he moves closer, slowly and deliberately, as if he knows exactly what he's doing. One person described waking up completely paralyzed, watching as this figure appeared from the corner of his room and began moving toward him. Its arms outstretched unnaturally long, its presence felt overwhelming, heavy, like the fear itself was being forced inside of him. Years later, when that same person saw the drawing of the Hat Man in a documentary, it was identical to what he had seen, down to the shape of the hat, the posture, and the movement. So what are shadow people? There's no agreement, no clear answer, only theories. Some believe they're spirits, but traditional ghost sightings usually involve detail, faces, clothing, identity. Shadow people don't have that. They're empty. Others believe there's something else entirely, interdimensional beings, entities from another reality bleeding into ours for brief moments, observing us, watching us. Some believe they're demons, that they appear when someone is vulnerable emotionally or mentally, and that they feed on fear. There are even theories connecting them to alien encounters, suggesting the shadow is a kind of cloaking, something hiding a form we're not meant to see. But there is a more grounded explanation, one that explains almost everything. Sleep paralysis. During sleep, your brain shuts off your body's ability to move. It's a safety mechanism, so you don't act out your dreams. But sometimes, you wake up before your body does. You're conscious, but completely paralyzed, and your brain is still dreaming. In that state, you can create visual hallucinations, sounds, physical sensations. You can actually feel something touching you, sitting on your chest, standing in your room. And because your brain is still partially in a dream state, it often fills the room with something threatening, something human-shaped. And that explanation makes sense. It fits. It explains the paralysis, the fear, the hallucinations, but it doesn't explain everything. Because people across the world with no connection to each other describe the same figures, the same shapes, the same Hat Man, the same presence of dread. And sometimes, people see them when they're fully awake, in the daylight, with no paralysis and no dream state. So maybe shadow people are nothing more than the brain misfiring, a side effect of sleep, a trick of the mind. Or maybe we only see them when we're vulnerable, because that's the only time we can see them. And the real question isn't whether shadow people exist, it's why do so many people from so many different places tell the exact same story? And why does it always feel like something is already there before you even see it?